Trades I took on the 15th of December 2022. So I took two trades today, and they were both quite interesting to watch go through, and a little bit stressful. So let's kick off with the NAS 100. So as usual, get up in the morning about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I mark off the Asia high and low. I do put in the 5 a.m. candle as well. It's part of what ITC says, but I haven't really seen any value in it at the moment. But we'll see how it goes. So put that in, and what I tend to do now is I'm setting alerts for the high and the low so that I know when it's broken, because I really probably shouldn't be doing anything until it's actually broken out of the Asia high or low. So that actually gives me quite a nice way to relax with the charts, because it's telling me to step away, don't do anything, wait until it's broken those, because until it's done that, you don't really know which direction it's going to go in. So I set those, and 7 o'clock at the open of Europe, it broke the low. Now, I'm going through all the videos from ICT again, and he's talking about having a look at the 3, 2 and 1 minute for identifying the fair value gaps. So that's what I've been doing now. Today I just focused on the 3 minute once I'd seen it move in a particular direction. And once that happened here, if I turn on the fair value gaps, there's obviously this big one here which it wasn't going back into. And then these ones, so the green ones are on the 15-minute time frame, and the blue are in the current time frame that I'm looking at. So there's quite a few fair value gaps that are appearing, looking for the fair value gap that appears once it makes a significant move. So that would have been this one, but I wanted to see something a little bit more deliberate, really. And then it just shot down, and I was like, oh, I don't know when to get in now, because this candle created this 3 minute fair value gap, but as it just kept going down, I couldn't see really a point of entry. And you can see from the green here, this is now a fair value gap on the 15-minute as well. So it's such a significant move. I just didn't know what to do, because if I was going to put a entry here, do I put the stop loss all the way back up here? It just seemed nonsensical. So I just left it and just waited to see what was going to happen. This purple line, by the way, is me looking at the daily chart and identifying what I think is possibly going to be the daily bias. So my daily bias at the moment from here was on the downtrend, so going bearish. So it carried on going down, a little bit of a pullback. Maybe that could have been an entry, but I just don't have enough experience with doing this yet to make that kind of decision. So I'd rather wait for a sort of cleaner setup. And so the next time it pulled back, I put in a fib from the last recent swing to the swing low, and was looking for, okay, what is it going into a fair value gap at the moment? Sort of, yes, but I still wasn't sure. I still didn't feel comfortable. And so this sort of second time that it pulled back, I was starting to think now, okay, look, I need to stop being so scared. And I've got two swing highs here. It's going on the downtrend. That's what I was expecting it to do. So I need to make a decision as to placing a trade. So we had two fair value gaps here, one here and one here. And so this is what was playing on my mind. I've got two big fair value gaps. I don't know which ones to pay attention to. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm going to put, instead of my entry point here, which was at the bottom of the fair value gap, as you can see, I actually put the entry here. So this is what I was looking at, this candle. So I decided to go midway of the last fair value gap. It also meant that it was, I think my fib would have been a bit higher at that point. So it would have been a slightly more realistic place to take it in my eyes. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but that's just what was going on in my brain at the time. So I put in the pending order midway of this fair value gap. But because this fair value gap was so big, I just couldn't ignore it. So I put a really generous stop loss in to cover the last swing, which I wasn't particularly happy about, but I just felt like I needed to have more confidence in doing it and actually put a trade in. So I put a trade in, and then it consolidates, and then it has two equal lows, and then it has a higher swing than the previous one. I'm just thinking, I'm not comfortable with this at all, but I need to stick to the rules that I have put myself in for this particular trade. So it carries on, and as you can see, it just keeps getting higher highs. I'm just thinking this is clearly not going to be my winning trade today, and that's fine. I can cope with that. And it goes up and up, and it's almost completely closed the higher fair value gap. So at this point, it's like, I'm just going to leave it now. There's just no point in arguing with the price action. It's going to go. And then it suddenly drops down. I think at this point, I actually walked away and just thought, I'm just going to leave it and I'll come back once my alerts have gone off telling me that it's broken. As you can see, I've got an alert here that I set to tell me that it's broken the old swing high. And away it goes. Now, at this point, I think I had actually come back because I'd set a couple of alerts for breaking of this low. And I think it was halfway point as well. So two of the alerts went off. First alert, I thought, oh, that's obviously the trade failing. But when I came to look, it had got to about here. And the next candle went, and because of the spread, this candle, although it triggered on TradingView, it didn't trigger on the actual trade that I had placed. So from a mindset point of view, this was absolutely killing me because it had triggered on TradingView, but it hadn't triggered my trade. I wanted to just close it there and then, but I thought, I've waited this long. It just seems silly now just to close the trade up here. I may as well just leave it. So I brought my stop loss down to, I think it was this swing here. Yeah, it would have been about here that I brought it down to, because I thought, well, at least I'm going to make some money from this trade and see what happens. And sure enough, the next candle, it broke through. And as you can see at the moment, it's just pulling back. So that was the first trade. That was probably the most stressful trade, watching that consolidate before it did anything. And then the second trade I did was GU. So again, marking the high, marking the low from the Asian session, setting alerts at the top and the bottom, and walking away and waiting for that alert to kick off. So this is 8 o'clock. This is London Open. Breaks through, and I'm really aware that today there is going to be, or there was, a base rate decision from the Bank of England at, I think it was 12 o'clock noon. So I was really, really conscious of that and not sure what was going on. Originally, I did actually have a bullish bias looking at the daily, but because it had broken there below and because we had the interest rate decision coming up, I was just going to let the latest price action tell me what direction I should be going in. So again, just this sudden dive down, I couldn't see an entry point to get in because it was just constantly going down. Once it did go down, I placed a fib to see if it was going to pull back and go up. or if it was going to break through that and continue going down. So, as I stated, originally I did actually have a bullish bias. So once I saw this come in, I placed it. You can see where I placed the pending order. It was actually here. So it's already broken the top of the fib. And I had a fair value gap here. There was a tiny one here as well. So I placed the pending order. I expected it to hit this fair value gap, and I covered this fair value gap as well. So again, another generous stop loss because of other fair value gaps that worry me, because I don't know which ones I'm supposed to be paying attention to and which ones not. I mean, I could have gone to here, which would have been within the rules. So it's not that much further to go all the way down there. So anyway, that's what I went with. Placed the pending order because of the fair value gap and the fib, the generous stop loss to cover the lower fair value gap. Initially, I did have my target up here, so at this high, and as it was playing out, and I was getting closer and closer and closer to the news, I was thinking I'm not comfortable with this anymore. I'm going to drop it down. I'm just going to stick with a 2R. I think I just ended up with 1.99R. Because the news candle was coming up, it was making me anxious, and I wanted to hope that there was going to be still a continued pull in this direction before the news, and sure enough, it did. So there's the news candle, and I was able to get another win out of that one. So if we put up the paper trading, I've only just realised I can turn off these commission entry points. So you can see that was yesterday's trading that I did, and then today's trading with the commissions turned off. 2 trades, 2 wins. Good day.